Hello! Today I've set myself the challenge of making an upbeat video about stuff that's depressing. So the Good Childhood Report 2020 is out. Every year the Children's Society measures the happiness, the well-being of teenagers across 24 countries in Europe, and it's found that we come bottom. We come 24th out of those 24. So I'm going to look at 4 things. How unhappy are British teenagers really? How does that really compare to other countries? What are the main causes of teenagers' lack of well-being and unhappiness? And most importantly, what on earth can you do about it, especially in these times of COVID? So we start with this graph that shows happiness has been falling in this country every year since 2011, but the actual numbers, 7.77 out of 10, don't seem too bad. This would seem to fit with the charity's branding. Today is a new day. Tomorrow is my future. You can change these figures, can't you? You can become more happy. Well, the report says that's unlikely. It says there's not enough money going into children. We're not going to make it happen. And here is a table that they use for evidence. What do British teenagers feel about their high life satisfaction? Well, they're ranked 24th, and they are 21 percentage points behind the top country, Romania. How do they feel about sadness? How often are they rarely sad? We're ranked 23 out of 24. Only the poor teenagers in Malta feel sad more often than we do. And again, Romania is ranked really high at number 2. Do we feel a positive sense of purpose? Well, again, Romania is number 1 and we are number 24. And that's a full 22 percentage points behind. There is a little bit of good news. We do have high happiness and we're ranked 9th. But our problem is we're not satisfied with the lives that we're leading. We often feel very sad and we really don't feel a sense of purpose. So I'm going to try and give you some solutions to that later in the video. In the United Kingdom, only 27% of teenagers said they felt good about all 4 areas that we've just looked at, compared to Romania, where 48% of teenagers had no issues in any of those 4 main areas. On that measure, we're ranked 20th out of 24. And when you look up and down this list, you'll find the United Kingdom is the wealthiest of all 24. And that's why the report is saying, look, the solution is money. Let's put money into services for children and transform lives. So I asked myself, well, what can I do as a YouTuber to make teenagers feel happier with their lives when I've got no money to give? Well, let's take a little further look at the survey. Here are the areas that the survey looked at. Your life as a whole, your appearance, your school, your friends, your schoolwork, and your family. What got worse since 2011? Not your life as a whole, not your schoolwork, and definitely not your family. No, it was your worry about your appearance, your worry about friends, and the stress caused by being at school. Now, the problem with your feelings about your appearance and your feelings with friends, they both have a common root, which is the use of social media. You really need to detoxify your life and get off social media if you can. I transformed my life 3 years ago by deleting my Twitter account. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made, and suddenly I felt so much more positive about life. The report also highlighted social media as a major problem and then focused on school. In school, you suffer from some bullying, from a harsh disciplinary system, exam stress, and little choice over the subjects you're studying. Well, I'm going to try and show you how to turn that last one to your advantage. And then I'll give you a final solution which will be a dramatic help to your relationship with friends. All right, Mr. Salles, so where's the good news? Well, the good news is how you respond to these situations can literally transform your sense of well-being. If you choose to see it as a disaster, it will be a disaster. But if you choose to see it as an opportunity to be positive, then amazingly, it can be positive. There are so many aspects of psychology that prove this. One of my favourite was a study into lottery winners compared to people who were in a wheelchair because they'd lost the use of their legs, or even worse, confined to some sort of bed because they'd lost the use of all their limbs. And what this research found was that you actually get used to your level of happiness and your circumstances. And the lottery winners were only a little bit happier than the paraplegics and the quadriplegics. That is an absolutely astonishing finding. This even has a name called hedonistic adaptation. Hedonism is the ability to seek happiness, and what it means is we adapt to our circumstances. So even brilliant circumstances become normal, and we get far less benefit from them than we imagined. Now, there is another fantastic solution available to us from psychology, and it's called synthetic happiness. This is ideal for us because it happens when we're faced with not many choices, and we have to make a choice that is not our preferred one. It's not our first choice. For example, let's say you had to give me a list in order of your top 5 option choices, and I would just then timetable you with the top 3 out of those 5. But then when I got your ranking, I say, yeah, sorry, there's been a bit of a mix-up. I can give you 2, 3 and 4, those choices, but I can't give you your first choice. But at least you get 3 out of your top 4. Well, after this point, something amazing will happen, and psychologists call it synthetic happiness. Well, experiments like this show that when I come back to you after a few weeks or a few months, what do you say? You say, you know what, I'm really glad that I chose 2, 3 and 4. These options are really good. Even when we know that they weren't as preferred as your original set. Why does that happen? Because the brain is wired to make the best of things, and therefore it makes synthetic happiness. How can you force your brain to become happy? And I'm going to give you one amazing technique, and it's simply this. I want you to keep a gratitude journal. This has exactly the same effect. So all you do every day without fail is write down 3 things that you're grateful for. You can have more if you want, but I don't want it to be something you can't stick to, so 3 is perfect. And I guarantee that after 1 week of writing down 3 things that you're grateful for, you will feel happier. If you do it for a month, you will feel more productive because you'll get a sense of autonomy, that you are in charge of your life getting better. Even if stuff around you is going haywire, by concentrating on 3 things that are going well, you'll dramatically improve your mental well-being. If you want to know more about how to do this, I will put a link in the description below. Then we come to my role as a teacher. I also poll my viewers every year to find out how useful my channel has been. And this year is the first year ever that students have not got absolutely amazing exam results because they watched my channel. Why not? Well, because there were no exams. But look at these percentages. Let's compare how my students did when they did have exams compared to this year when there were no exams but everybody got inflated grades because they got the best of their teacher's estimates, which we know were an overestimate, or the algorithm estimate if that was even higher. So results this year went up by 6% at every grade. We know they were record results that will probably never happen again. Well, guess what happened with my viewers? Their results were actually worse under this system than when they had an exam. In other words, using my channel is going to be even better than your teachers inflating your predictions, even better than an algorithm also being able to give you higher marks so you can pick the highest one. Why? I hope it's because I make top grades easy and you can get higher marks for less work. So why not click on the video on the left, which is the one that gets most students the most grades. And I'll see you soon on my channel.